Welcome back, daters!
Welcome.
So today's episode is called Let's Catch Up, where we just want to catch up with our supporters, catch up with each other, check in. We are guest-free because we needed some friend time. We needed time to bond.
People not breathing down my neck.
So before we jump into it, this episode is sponsored by Reach LA.
Reach LA.
Where LGBTQ plus people of color use creative arts, health and wellness, personal development, and social enterprise to increase self-sustainability. Thank you, Reach LA, for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you, Reach LA. Shout outs to y'all.
Yeah. So we have on here dating affirmations. So as y'all know, throughout the season, we typically start the episode asking our wonderful co-hosts that we have their dating affirmations. And Nathan, let's jump into it like this. Do you feel like any of your dating affirmations this season have come to fruition?
I don't even remember them, to be honest.
One of your dating affirmations was to get fucked properly. Has that happened?
Wait a minute. I'm not even that vulgar.
Yes,
so I don't even know if I said that. But if I did say that, it has not happened yet. Actually, I'm lying. Actually, has. It happens not as often as I would like, but yes. Has my dating affirmation? I think I had one affirmation. Did I say something about me being intentional about getting to know somebody or something like that?
Yes,
maybe. I was intentional about getting to know a few people. I got to know them. We cool. It didn't blossom, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I have some good acquaintances from it. Dating is not a big I'm not overwhelmed by it like everybody is. So, it's if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm cool.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you feel do you think, okay, so your dating affirmation, when was it? Before January, right?
I think it was December. I think we talked about what we wanted our dating or relationships to look like in 2025.
Okay. And you had a dating affirmation. How do you feel about your dating affirmation, where you are now, because you are now in a relationship? What are your feelings? What are your thoughts?
I think number one, my dating affirmation.
Do you remember what it was? The main one you had? I
definitely feel like it was to find somebody that is intentional. I think we do have to. We're gonna go back. We're gonna clip this and or do a side by side, because I think it was to date somebody in 2025 with intent and then move into a relationship. And I feel like that, shout out to my man. I love you.
Period.
And wait, happy Pride. Oh my God, happy Pride!
Yes. Because we actually talked about Pride today, and we just jumped right into it because he got his Pride shirt on.
Yeah.
Happy Pride,
Happy
y'all.
Pride, everybody.
We are in the first week of June.
Yes, happy Pride.
Shout out to all the gays.
Yes.
The LGBTQ plus IA community, all of us. Shout out to us. Happy Pride. We're going to have an extensive Pride episode very soon. So you'll be singing about that.
Yes, Pride. I love you gays.
No, I love you gays.
I love you gays.
And lesbians, bisexuals, pansexuals.
I was going to go through the list.
Trans, queer, identifying, all the dolls of the community.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for being supporters of ours.
Yes.
And thank you for, I think that when we came, we'll talk about it in another episode, but when we came out, I feel like we had such a great community.
We had a lot of really good support. And we're really blessed, and we're very grateful. But anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. And the only reason I said that is because this only Pride shirt was made by my man.
Yeah. Why you make me one?
I told Joshua to make you one. I told him to make you one. Well, he gonna watch Joshua. Nathan wants a size extra large.
Wait a minute, bitch.
What is a large?
Extra large.
This is a large.
This is a large, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I like a little baggy. You like yours fit like this too.
I can do mine as small.
It's small.
We're gonna cut it up and make it a baby tee. Thank you. The hell, you talking about an extra large?
But yeah, this is made by my man. Shout out to him. But I would say My dating affirmation has come true because he's very intentional.
Okay.
And he's been very intentional since like day one. Like literally since the first time that we actually met in person. Like what he said that he wanted and what he walks. He walks the way he talks, or he talks the way he walks. You know what I'm saying? Like he really, he speaks life into me, he speaks life into our relationship. Yeah, and he's been a really good partner.
I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good way for us to segue into our not our topic, but like pretty much what we want to cover, just in terms of like our relationship journeys, our love journeys, our relationship status is where we are, and where we've been throughout the season. So we've talked about your current relationship status. What has changed for you now that you are in a relationship? Good, bad, indifferent. We know that Josh will watch us, so
yeah,
you can say the good stuff and tell me the bad.
Right. I'll call you. No, I think that what has changed since I've been in a relationship, I think a relationship is a job. It's a job and a responsibility.
I like the word responsibility. I like the word job.
Yeah.
Job makes it sound stressful.
Well, it's work. It's not as stressful, but it's work. I think you have to. I have been single for 10, going on 11 years, and then I got into this relationship with Joshua, and I feel like I've had to shift my mindset from solely thinking about me to now incorporating him.
Another person, yeah.
And then also, like, I'm not dating in my 20s. I'm dating in my late 30s. So, like, we're dating with the intent to marry.
Okay.
And that is...
So that's a goal.
That is the goal.
Okay.
And so that is an additional responsibility because we have to move as though one day he will be my husband, one day I will be his husband. So we have to move in that path and, like, do things that we hadn't done in other relationships. We have
like what?
Therapy, couples therapy.
Okay.
We have to, really, really dive deep into issues that haven't even come up yet.
Okay.
Like we have to get ahead.
So y'all are doing that as y'all are progressing your relationship right now. Okay.
And we have to get ahead of, issues that may arise. I've learned that, Joshua and I sometimes will just like have these like what if conversations. And when we have those what if conversations, it's like, oh my God, we don't agree on that. So we'll have to talk through that so that when that does come up, like we know how to handle it. And therapy is going to help us like get through that. So I think that has been something that I've had to adjust to. And also like being held accountable.
In what way?
In a lot of ways. I mean, like, I think it is his responsibility to hold me accountable as it is my responsibility to hold him accountable because we're in a committed partnership. And along with the commitment of like being monogamous, the commitment to, making sure that I am putting a smile on his face, making sure that I am doing certain things in our relationship that keep it exciting and keep it youthful. And vice versa. We hold each other accountable in those ways. So I think those are two things that have changed.
Those are two things that have changed.
And then, going out as much, has been...
Well, you can't go because you're always with him.
I am.
You wouldn't even have the space to come out because you're always with him.
And we're long distance, which is interesting too. But I feel like, yes, when we are together, we really do value like our time together. And yes, we will dip out and meet y'all at Trunks for a drink, on a Sunday or whatever. But like we really value like
y'all time together.
Yeah, nurturing our time together because we have to. Because we're long distance and because we're dating with intent, like us being at the club 24 all weekend is not nurturing the relationship. Like we really have to take time to nurture the relationship.
Yeah, we talked about that. I told you that I'm not going to the club with my man, at least for the first year. I just don't think that it's a space for a growing relationship. I think some people can do that and that works for them. But I think the way I maneuver in the club space, not just like
how do you maneuver in a club space?
I have fun. But that's not the point. I think like I can't control people's actions towards me when I'm out. I can only control mine. But that still will not deviate or it won't help my partner's discomfort.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just remove myself from that situation. I feel like you're going to the club anyway to have a good time and flirt and meet men anyway. So if you got a man where you are, there's no need for you to be going there unless y'all are going together. And at least for me, I would, if that's a space that I end up being and participating in with my partner, there would have to be a little bit of time in our relationship before we can do that. I just don't think that it's a safe space, especially in the gay community, to just be out with your partner at the club.
I enjoy partying with Joshua. He's a good time guy. Like he loves to shake his shoulders and have a good time. He's a good time guy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that. And then also I do enjoy like him and I, like we're tipsy, we get in an Uber, we order our Uber Eats, we get home, we lay in the bed, and we eat our food, and like we talk, we pass out. Like I enjoy
that. Going home with someone.
Yeah, going home with not someone, him. Going home with him and like enjoying that. I do enjoy that.
Wasn't in quotes. It wasn't in quotes. It was a specific. We know it was Joshua.
I think I enjoy that aspect of it. But I do get your point where it's like, yes, going to the club with your partner, especially if you've been moving in a single way for quite some time. Yeah. It's a difference.
Like I think about it now. I just be thinking, I was telling you yesterday, like what I had on, how people just was touching me and stuff.
Grabbing you because you all damn.
I just wouldn't want to put my partner in that kind of circumstance.
But you have to have those conversations. Because even if you and him have been together 6 months, Nathan, and then you
still wouldn't even touch a club there.
But I mean, y'all probably will. But like y'all going out, or even if y'all live in the same city, he at the club with his crew, you at the club with us. You know, people are gonna walk past. They're gonna hug you. They're gonna touch you in a inappropriate way at times. But it's up to y'all to have that conversation. That's why I said a lot of times, like,
I'm just thinking about it realistically, where I don't know, even me saying it.
But you have to change
How are you
it.
going to be able to keep yourself and your partner out of the club space together? Because y'all gonna want to go and want to have fun together. And I'm just like, how can I really avoid that? I think LA.
You're not doing nothing crazy in a club.
I'm not.
Yeah. To where like it would put your relationship.
I just think y'all don't peep everything. Y'all, you don't peep everything. I peep it. I be seeing certain things in the way people be touching me, and I'm just like really fluid now. And I don't really have I guess like I would have to make it know that I have a man. Like, walk around with my something.
With your ring on your finger.
I just think because we live in LA and everything is just so laissez-faire here. You got open relationships. You making out in the club with a bitch man, and then the boys in the bathroom that they come and they join you. It's just really so fluid here. Yeah. Lines are blurred. That's why like those of us who live in Los Angeles, we live in an alternate reality. You can't do certain things that happen here in other places.
I think it's very interesting you said that about open relationships. Do you find that in our community, like the expectation is almost that every relationship is open?
No. I don't. And I think that you have to just change the degree of how you look at open relationships. Like being monogamous is a choice, just how being open is a choice. Yeah. And most times I think that we always talk about this all the time. I always tell you like open relationships are most times not about the emotional connection that you have with someone. I just don't believe that it's easy for people to manage more than one connection in that way and it not become something difficult. I think it's usually mostly about, being sexual and being free and being open in that dynamic. And I think that is something that you can compartmentalize and do. I just think that because we are men and we're gay men in general, I think that we have to look at our relationship statuses in the way that we like pursue relationships from a different lens. So if you're interested in being open, that's good and that's okay for you. But if you want to be monogamous, you have to choose monogamy, and then monogamy is a practice.
Yeah.
So
and it's a hard practice.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot. It takes effort. To be monogamous. It takes effort.
Yeah. I do.
Especially in our community too, because I feel like oftentimes too people don't respect relationships as much within our community. Do you feel like that?
Do I feel like people don't respect relationships?
And tell the truth.
As much as in your community? I think it's individual based. I think you and your man have to be in the same accord.
Yeah.
And
100%.
y'all have to deal with people the same. So people know not to play with y'all.
Yeah.
Because if you chilling and you cool and this one is really aggressive about being in a relationship with you, this is where bitches have a window into getting in. Like if y'all, you know, your friend, you know, social media is a big thing for you. So if your man is entertaining people on social media, like, you know, liking pics and doing all that stuff, and you're just like really adamant about, this is my man, I'm not doing that, you know what I mean? People will come into that. Now, if both of y'all are very adamant on the fact that we don't play that. We are close. This is a monogamous relationship. This is my man. I'm not playing by him. He don't play about me. I think people will respect that. People won't play with you.
I think what's interesting is we had this conversation last year on the podcast in terms of, you know, social media and your partnership, and how that plays into your relationship. And I think in my relationship, it was interesting how like we had to have those like little conversations about social media and how we operate on social media. And it was a quick conversation because Joshua is just not that type of guy.
Yeah, I could see that for him not being, and I could see it for you too, because for you, social media is a business.
Yeah,
so,
it's a business, yeah.
You know, the social media game for me, we always talk about it. I just like to act like I'm aloof to it because my DMs ain't jumping like that. If men are meeting me and they want to talk to me, they see me and they meet me in person, or we're on a dating app.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like people are not DMing me and sending me news and pictures and stuff like that. Like, I'm really being honest, like my DMs are washed. So when I think about like me navigating social media, you go on my explore page, what's on there? Fragrances, dogs, a cute boy here and there, workout videos, makeup, nail, and hair lash tutorials. Because I feel like there's so interesting things.
You will watch that for 30 minutes.
I'm like, this is so
That is so interesting that you really can tell a lot about a person. Two things on their cell phone, I think. Their Explorer page on Instagram and the emojis that they use when they text. If you click on the emoji button, like of their most used emoji or their most recently used emoji, I think you could tell a lot about a person.
What's your most usually used emoji?
Right now, it's probably kissy face.
Mine is always.
Let's see. What is yours? Mine is the kissy face.
I think it's the hug, and then the one with the hearts on top of it.
Let me see. Mine is
because I don't know.
Yeah, mine is the kissy face
or the eye rolling.
Mine is the kissy face, and then
let me see.
The laugh, the praying hands. And now the rainbow because it's Pride.
I never used the rainbow one. Yeah, it's really, or the laugh, or the guy that's like loud, like the blue thing where there's like you can see the voice where you're trying to scream. I use that a lot.
I can see that.
I'm gonna emphasize my
When it comes to relationships, though, what are you looking for in the next phase? Or
y'all, I got some oil in my eye.
You okay, sister? But like, what are you looking for? And then like, in you looking for whatever you're looking for, like how committed are you to
finding
that and looking for that or finding that?
What am I looking for right now out of a partner or just like being in a relationship?
I think in general, in the dating space, like what are you looking for? Because I feel like for you play the single role very well. You have fun. You really are.
Talk, bitch. Go ahead.
You believe it. You have a good time. Like you enjoy your singleness.
Yeah.
But you know, as a friend of you, a close friend of yours, I know we talk a lot about you know what you desire in the near future. But like right now, like what are you looking for?
What does that look like for me? I'm interested in finding someone who is intentional about getting to know me.
Intentional with the intent of being in a long-term relationship with you?
Absolutely. I'm interested in someone courting me, but I also want to, you know, court back. I want it to be a practice. I want to find someone that I truly like. I have not found anybody that of serious interest to me. I also feel like there are a lot of gay men like me who have not been in relationships. But I feel like me and a couple of other people like me are anomalies because I don't feel like I've lost anything in my life.
Yeah.
I told you I started dating boys when I was 15. You know what I mean? I'm 33 now. I'll be 34 in November. And in that time, there has been not a real substantial long-term journey. And, you know, in the middle of my 20s, late 20s, I started to feel incomplete, as if I was not, you know.
Because you did not.
Yeah, I haven't achieved anything. I'm a gay man. I haven't had a man, you know, and that was the important practice. That was something that you should have.
Yeah.
And I started to look at it, and I always tell you, I look at my network. And I have friends with master's degrees. I have friends with
BB.
I have friends who are business owners. I have friends who are immaculate, just men in this space, and they're all single. And you know, I had to start to look at the community as us trying to date each other and look for a relationship is an intra-community problem. And I feel like we try to follow a model that wasn't designed for us in our dating practices. And that is why we end up where we are, because we're split. We have some people that want to be wives and husbands, and then we have other people that want to be super freaky whores, but also have a person to do that with.
Well, that's why I always say, like, I feel like there is no role models for like the Black gay relationship. Particularly for our generation, because we're trying to figure it out.
But do we need a role model though? Why can't we?
Every relationship, you create the model of your relationship and you follow that. I think you cannot say that you can say there are certain qualities or things that you may like about a relationship when you see it like from the outside looking in, but you don't know, like we don't know internally what Michelle and Barack had to go through.
Those your idols?
I'm just saying. Well, I would love to
Mine is Gucci Mane and Keisha Kayor.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm joking. Go ahead.
No, you're not. You're dead serious. Dead serious. But I mean, we don't know what Barack and Michelle had to go through to get to where they are.
Yeah.
So from the outside looking in, we would love to be with somebody 20 plus years and have excellent.
Do you think that's realistic?
Yes.
In this day and age?
Yeah.
You really believe that people can be. And that's another thing.
If I did not believe that, I would not be in a committed relationship. If I did not think that I can be with somebody for 20 plus years, I would not, and more, I would not be in a committed relationship.
Okay, but you see,
because I don't want to do short term relationships.
But I'm not saying it in a way where you can't do it because you'll get tired of your partner. I'm just saying, like, you know, just circumstances happen. Like, for example, I think about like women and men. Women don't have to date men and be within relationships with men as long as they did before, because they don't specifically need men now at that time. Like they don't need a man to open a credit card and buy a house and those different things. So like having a man is something that I feel like women do because they want to be married, and you know, but if they're not happy, they have the option of leaving.
Yeah. Well, I feel like at this age, we're bosses. Our generation, we are full of bosses. Like men, women, like we are full of bosses. So we're not jumping into a partnership searching for financial security. We're bringing financial security to the table and praying and hoping that the other person is bringing financial security to the table. So that our relationship is not based on financial dependence. Like I don't want to be in a relationship and I'm financially dependent on you to live my wonderful life. I think that what we're looking for now, especially our generation, is emotional security. We're looking for somebody to provide emotional security and also love us through past trauma.
Okay.
A lot of us in our generation have suffered from past trauma, and we did not have therapy at 10 years old. We did not have therapy at 15 years old. We are now in our 30s and finally getting into therapy and realizing what those traumas are, and we're looking for somebody to love us through that healing process. And I think that's what love should be. Like somebody loving you through or caring for you through certain processes of your life.
You said you asked me the question. I just wanted to answer that and say I am open to a monogamous relationship.
Yes. Okay.
So I'm not gonna say I'm looking, because when I say look, I really haven't been intentional about that. So I don't want to be like, oh, I'm looking. But what I would ideally like is a monogamous relationship. I want to find a partner, someone who I'm really generally interested in, a fine, beautiful, fine black man.
I told you, your man is 50. Your man is 50.
If he's 50, he's 50.
Your
But you know,
50.
I just want somebody who's intentional about me. And also, I'm not interested in changing any specific parts of myself to be with this man.
Would you change locations? Like, would you leave LA?
LA is my home base. I do work from home, and I do, I am pursuing a career in the arts, but I'm willing and I'm open to being bi-coastal or wherever that person is, because since I do have flexibility in my work schedule, I'm open to being with this person, part-time and being in my space, part-time. I think that that's also good for my mental health, because I have never lived with a man, and I'm just so used to being by myself, and I think that can also be to my detriment because I don't like being inconvenienced. So the moment I'm inconvenienced, I'm out. So I think that is something also to just like really kind of think about in the moment of doing things. But yes, I'm open and we'll see.
Hopefully, maybe I hope your husband is watching this podcast.
I'll be watching it too, child.
Like and subscribe and comment if you want to be Nathan's husband.
You find me on Instagram and do what the girls do. Last question for you. How has navigating a long distance relationship been for you? Like, what are some of the differences like you really noticed when you were dating locally?
I think that navigating a long distance relationship has been great. I am accustomed to dating outside of LA. So it was quite easy for me to continue to date somebody that is not in LA. I've not had anybody in LA that I've been serious about any type of way. So it was good for me to date. I like dating outside of LA. And especially in DC, I've always, for some reason, went there. I'm like, oh, my husband's here. I just feel it. You said that when you've been there. Some of the things that I've had, I think certain things that I've had to become accustomed to in a long distance relationship is missing him and not being able to like get to him. I'll either have to wait till the weekend or the week after. But him and I have like spent a lot of time together. Like yesterday we were on the phone and we counted like how many days we spent together last month. And we spent 17 days together last month. And we were like, oh, that's like half the month. You know what I'm saying? And that was cool. And like, that's our goal. Like, we want to make sure that we see each other at least as much as possible, at least 15 days in a month. So, and we're doing that. So I think, yeah. And also, I told you this on the phone earlier. What's interesting is dating this man. He lives all the way in Washington, D.C., which is on the complete different coast from us, and I have went on more dates with him in 1 month than dating somebody in my same city for 3 months.
Yeah.
And which is quite interesting because somebody that lives in the valley and they're dating somebody in Long Beach, you will hear so many excuses about traffic. About, it was traffic. Oh, can we reschedule? Oh, and you look up, it's been 3 months and you've only seen this person one time. And then in my relationship, my man living, 3,000 miles away from me. And like I said, I've been on more dates with him in like 1 month than I have with, knowing somebody or dating somebody in LA for 3 months. So,
yeah, but I also think that's about being intentional. I think with you and your partner, y'all have really been intentional about, wanting to be in a relationship. Both of also your goals are aligned.
Yeah.
And I think that was really important as well.
Well, long distance, I feel like...
I got to be on the same frequency.
Yeah. Long distance makes you want to be more intentional because you're spending your money to fly back and forth.
Yeah.
And from DC to LA, those are sometimes those prices are like international flights. And the way me and him move, like it'll be like, oh shoot, we didn't book our ticket. We got to book our ticket this week. So we'll book a ticket the same week. And like, oh shoot, so like going back and forth.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But going back and forth is like, it's an expense. And then when
it's an investment though.
It's an investment. And then when we get together, we go on dates and we do those type of things. So yeah, so like it's a huge investment financially, emotionally, and mentally. And I feel like you have to be intentional about that, especially with long distance.
But you do know that your situation is really I don't want to say isolated, but it is something that doesn't really happen often. Like even dating long distance can be difficult for some people because you might not want to spend that money or people might have other options to focus on. But I think that the key word and the key idea here is in being intentional about what you have and feeling like you're going to miss out on it and you want to really nurture and build that. So y'all should really give yourself some kudos outside of that, like for really, because it's very difficult. You got to worry about finances. You got to worry about temptation. You got to worry about all of this different thing that's going on, in order to sustain a relationship out, in the 2 different cities that y'all live in. These coasts, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and then 2 major cities at that.
So, you know, it's a big deal.
It is. I'm thankful. I'm
you
super
should
thankful.
be. Congrats on having a man.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. Thank you.
Let's so let's do some recaps of some season dating topics.
So what was your favorite episode that we filmed this season?
We filmed some good stuff.
We did.
I think I loved all the episodes. I love the one with Shar. I love the one with Shar and Nina. I love the one with I love the one with Vance and Ryan. But I think my favorite one probably have to be a Savoy and Patrick. Because we was really just keying in that episode. We were talking cash money shit up here. And it was fun. And I think we were just like laughing. And I think that was one of my, and it was like really kind of more chill topics because the other ones have been kind of serious. So I think that was my favorite. What about you?
I can't say I have a favorite. I like all of them. Like when I think about an idea of us like doing like a live podcast, which we're going to do really soon, I want all of them on the stage. Like Brandon, Armand, Nina, Shar. I want all of them. Vance, Ryan, you know, Savoy. I want all of them on the stage. Patty, I want all of them on the stage with us. You know, even our straight episode, which was T. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, here am I.
Yes, here am I. And Jay, I just want all of us on the stage because all of them brought such interesting perspectives and great conversation. So I don't have all of them are my favorite.
Did you change your opinion about anything that we discussed this season based on the conversation with our guests?
No. I feel in watching our episodes, because Nathan and I, we get the footage, and then we do our due diligence about putting it out and everything like that. But then throughout the week, like I'll have the episode playing in the background while I'm working to hear like if I hear some clips or things like that. And I'm always entertained. I'm always laughing. And I oftentimes forget it's us because the conversation is so good. But I'm oftentimes like, watching it back, I'm enlightened by our guests. I'm educated by our guests and the conversations that we have, and then them sharing their experiences. Like I feel like I learn a lot from them.
I don't know if my opinion changed about anything. I do think it's funny. The Instagram thing is really funny to me about like, you know, having your man follow your Instagram. And that's a constant like conversation.
Yeah. That and like shit changed about that.
Like I don't know if my opinion has changed because like I said, Instagram don't do nothing for me. If a man gonna cheat, he gonna cheat. But I do think what somebody said was do not give them a, what is it? Like, just like don't give yourself a rope and hate to hang yourself. So, I be a little bit more cautious with Instagram. I may not use Instagram that way, but don't be obtuse to the fact that the girls are probably using Instagram
and I think
in that way.
That's why I was telling you like before about like having those like conversations. Like, I think Joshua was here when we filmed that episode. He was in the control room when we had that topic come up, and him and I talked about it, about, you know, if we're out and him getting people Instagram, and I trust him. So like if he does vibe with somebody, oh, these cool, and they exchange Instagrams, like I'm okay with it, but he has to tell me
that you exchange Instagram.
Yeah. If we're at a function together and you do, like, you tell me about it and we talk about it.
Pierre said he would hit y'all in the head with a bottle of Tito's.
Yeah. Well, I think also, too, like, knowing your partner and, like, being able to have those type of open conversation with them. And then if you're not comfortable about it, and if your partner is willing to, like, unfollow somebody because
but
you're
is
not
that really on your partner, or is it you? Like, I have to trust my I want to gauge my partner's personality and see how they are. I would actually prefer to. I actually talk to a lot of men who don't have social media. That's always great for me. It's annoying because I can't like stalk them and figure out what they're doing. But it's also fun because then you got to worry about all that foolishness.
I think that if
you would make your man unfollow somebody.
I sure would. I would make him unfollow somebody if I did not want him to follow somebody. But we haven't. Are you a fake Instagram page? Are you doing that, stalking people?
What? Do you have a fake Instagram? Like,
what?
Would you? I'm asking y'all. Okay. Well, that's fine.
You got a burner account. I got a burner account. They got a burner account. We all got burner accounts. You do? I see it on your phone.
Bitch, you a motherfucking lie. I pull out my phone right now. I don't have a burner account. I'm a gangster. I'm gonna go on your stories even if we not follow each other, and I'm gonna look.
No, I have business pages. So I don't have to have like
burner account.
I don't have
And
to
I'm
now.
not looking at people's pages off the podcast page. I'm just not doing
You're not
all
doing
of that.
that?
I'm not. It's just not my style.
Yeah, And then in my relationship, I don't really have to. Like our phones.
Yeah, because y'all both the same type of person.
Yeah,
Joshua be here and I'll be like, he be acting the same way you do. I'll be like, good, perfect, match made in heaven.
He don't want me in yeah. We're the same person.
Okay, so no opinion change. This is a good question. That we I would love to ask you this. Like, what do you think about like gay men's goals? Like when they're dating, do you think like the goals is to find love or find a partner? Because I feel like we see a lot where people just are dating for fun. I know people want relationships, but like, you do think people are like really foreshadowing their future with a man?
I'm 50-50 on that because I think that in my profession and talking to a lot of men about dating, if somebody does not use the word intent or they are not operating as though they are seeking a partner long term, then I do not think that they are looking for like a particular type of person. They're looking for just any person. And I feel like within our community, I feel like your goal should be you dating somebody with intent, but then also like somebody that you really can see a future with, not somebody to just say that you're in a relationship. There are people that we know and that we watch who get into relationships and they're just happy to be with somebody.
With someone, yeah.
Opposed to being with somebody that really aligns with your intent, aligns with your goals, aligns with your life. So I think it's so important that you have dating goals, but it's also as important that you have like-minded goals with the people that you're looking to date as well. What about you?
I think it's really individual based. I think I don't think a lot of people are actually looking for love. I think a lot of people desire love. A lot of gay men desire love and they want it. But I don't think that they are really putting into practice of finding love and being really intentional about it.
Before you start, why do you feel like that?
All right, Barbara Walters.
Because I mean, that's such an interesting thing, Nathan. That's like
everybody wants a man, but how many of us have one? And then when you ask people, I ask gay men this a lot. Why do you want to be in a relationship? I want somebody to do this. I need somebody to do this. I'm going to go home and hold somebody at night. If I feel like I want to hear, when I ask you what you're looking for a relationship for, what you want a relationship, why you are looking for a relationship, excuse me, I want to hear you say selfless things.
Yes.
I want to protect someone. I want to love someone. I want to change someone's life. I want to build. I want a family. I want to hear people talk about being in a relationship as a we aspect.
Yeah.
I said it before in the podcast. I said it's a luxury to be in a relationship and to find love.
It is.
I said y'all think that fairy tales and Disney have convinced y'all that everybody find a man. That is not the realistic idea of everything. I remember watching Andre Leon Talley's documentary, and he said he died and he never had a true love. Everybody doesn't get to experience that, and I think that it is important for us to really put that into perspective, so that when we are looking and choosing a partner, we're not playing with people. And also, we have to act like the stakes are high. You know, the stakes are not that high for gay men.
Yeah.
They're not, because there's always another pretty face. There's always another big butt and a nice fat dick or whatever you're looking for in that. Well, it's the honest truth. There's just, the stakes are not that high for us. And I think that we need to start looking at pursuing love, connection, partnership, and relationship. If that's something that we really want, we have to start looking at it in a way where it's a luxury, and we have to take care of and be precious about it.
Yeah. And that's why I told you before, it's a responsibility.
Yeah. And I like that you said that too.
Yeah, it's a responsibility. And then also you have to really, really be willing to be held accountable, and also change the perspective of we, like you said, the we. There has to be a we in your dating goals. That was really good, Nathan. That was really, really good. Is having a type helpful in dating, or does that limit your potential connections? And can sticking too close to that type be considered self-sabotage?
No. You like what you like. I just think that you just have to be. I do think you should be open. I think some things about your type are really kind of like minuscule. Like you want to date tall men.
Yeah.
You want to date a man who makes a certain amount of money, which I do think that in some cases that is important. Like certain like physical features, I feel like if it's a physical thing about your type, then I don't know, maybe you can be a little bit more flexible. Like you know me, I love a big black man, bald. Like I really love men who are big. And when I mean big, I mean just like bigger than me, like in stature. But I've talked to shorter men, and I have. And those are ones that tend to gravitate
men that are
towards me.
110 pounds.
I'm open to it. You know what I mean? I think your type is just really supposed to be just like a curator of what you actually like. If you want to make a Pinterest board of all the men that I like, you know who to pull out.
Yeah.
But you just have to be more open-minded about, I don't think your type is self-sabotage. I just do think that you just chasing your type and constantly like that being the only thing that you want is probably self-sabotage. Yeah.
I think that if you're not willing to recognize when your type is not good for you, then it's self-sabotage.
Explain that more, because when we talk about type, I talk about physicalities.
How
can a physicality not be good for you?
In addition to the physicality, a type is also like a particular type of person that you are dating that may be, physically they're your type. And in addition to that, emotionally, mentally, a lot of other things I think make up a type when you talk about a type. I think that, but if you recognize that you're dating the same type of person, the name is just different and it's not working, you need to reevaluate your type. Recently, I just had a conversation with somebody that openly said, and he was a Gemini. I love you. I know he watching. But he openly said, my type is not good for me. And I know it, but I keep dating it. Why do you keep dating the same type of person?
That's interesting, because for me, I do, but you are right. And I needed to like think about that in the context of
was that for you?
What?
Are you dating the same?
Please, I'm not dating the same type. Every man is different. I really wish it would be some consistency in how I date.
You do date a wide variety.
Bitch is fluid. It's tired. But that's so interesting because I never thought about it like the type of man just in terms of like personal qualities. I'm like, when I say type, I'm just always talking about the type of man that I immediately gravitate towards. Like what attracts me.
But it's so interesting that you revert to the physical, because for you, and in thinking about like the last 5 guys that I've seen you with, the physicals are all different. So it's interesting that you immediately go to that, because I feel like for you, that doesn't matter. I feel like you're more so worrying about the intellect. You're worried about the, the heart.
My type ain't really that available in LA. My type is in the country.
That's why in Houston, she leave me in Houston, baby. We go to Houston.
My type ain't really available here, so I got to be flexible here. But yeah, that's a really interesting sentiment. Yeah, people do date the same type of person just in terms of the way that they treat you. But I also feel like your type can spot like certain things in you. That's why they like kind of gravitate towards you in regards to what you were saying with that. Okay, let's go to something else. When we talked about navigating situationships, is it possible to be in a situationship without any emotional attachment?
Yes.
This is a question for me, but yeah.
I think so. I think that I have been in situationships for, I can think of one that was 5 years long. And we just, when we enjoy each other's company, we did. After that, it was out of sight, out of mind. Did I have an emotional attachment to them? Not really. If they didn't call that week, they didn't call that week. But when they called, we hung out, we kicked it. When they booked the flight, I went, we had a good time, and that was that. So I think you can have a situationship without having any emotional attachment.
You can. So what I look at it as is more so not a emotional attachment, but respect. Because I was thinking about it the other day, like how I'm in. I have these situationships, and I was like, what if one of these motherfuckers that I was dealing with came up in the club and kissed a bitch in front of me? Would I feel some type of way? Yes, because you just disrespected me. You're not my man, but you shouldn't be doing that.
So you don't think that disrespect and you reacting is a form of emotion?
It is a form of emotion. I think you can
So
have.
you have emotional.
Hold on. I think you can. You know. Here's what I'm gonna say. You will have emotional attachment. It's just the level of emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it can be really small, or some of it can be really big. You know what I mean? I think with a man that you're getting to know and you're dating, the emotional attachment is stronger than somebody you're just sleeping with, having a cuddable time. But you still have an emotional attachment to that person. You don't want to see anything happen to them.
Yeah,
but
there's
the
a
expectations.
Care.
Exactly.
I feel like there's a care. There's not an emotional attachment. I feel like I've had situationships where I care, like I genuinely care, but like emotions, like yes, if something happened to you, I'll be like, oh my God, I'll be sad about it. But on a day-to-day basis, if I don't hear from you, will that affect my mood? No, not in a situationship like that.
It won't necessarily affect my mood, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because again, compartmentalizing is really important, especially for somebody like me who participates in a lot of different situationships with different people, because I don't it's really easy to get caught up.
What's your max number of situationships that you can kind of maintain at one time?
3. It's not like I do it intentional, but like I when it's 3, it's okay for me, because at more than that, I start to make people fall out their places, because I don't want to. I also have really good relationships with these men that I deal with. I get to know them. We're just not compatible for relationship purposes. But, I have a lot of respect for them. I do enjoy my time that I spend with them. It's just the expectations are different. If I know that I can't be with you, I'm not going to put that much pressure on what we're doing.
At one particular point in time, I do recall like I was in at least 10 situationships in different ways.
But how are you navigating that?
Dinners, dates, travel. Once again, they're all not in the same city, so it's kind of spread out. Different type of conversations. I don't need to hear from you every day, but these were like solid. I got 10 good morning messages. And at that point, I realized like I had to get off of Hinge, I had to get off of Tinder and other apps, because I felt like, I don't need anybody else added to the roster.
Yeah.
But like too many situationships, I think can like drain you if you're looking for more. Yeah. And I think for me, definitely like that's when I realized like I don't want to be in 2025. I don't want to be in multiple situationships. Yeah. So I'm thankful that I'm in a relationship now.
I get that. Let's cover 2 more topics, and then we can move on to our final low thing.
Oh yes.
So we talked the gay dating versus straight dating. And I like flip this question. So, what role does financial stability play in modern dating decisions? Like, do you think gay men are too concerned about finances? What roles do they play in? Let's talk about power dynamics. Like, how does that affect that relationship?
I think something you said earlier when you get turned off by somebody constantly saying, I want somebody to do this and I want somebody to do this.
I hate a man who love gifts.
Yeah.
I just cannot stand
me and my friend Brittany. Me and Brittany just had this conversation. And it was on her. She put on her social media that she cannot stand a man who says gifts. Yes. Is like their love language,
because they never want anything sentimental.
Yeah,
you don't want a photo.
You want a Gucci belt.
You want a Gucci belt and some Balenciaga sneakers, or you want some Beats headphones. Like you never want nothing sentimental.
I am as a tourist. We are gift givers. Like I love buying Joshua gifts, but majority of the time they're sentimental gifts. Something that he can't get from anybody else. Like he can only get from me.
Big up your man.
And
get from anybody
else. He can't get it from anybody else. And best believe, but when I do buy him a Gucci bag, it will have my initials engraved on the inside, so he knew exactly who he came from.
Just like a tourist.
Yeah,
thinking about you.
Territorial. But I do feel like oftentimes we hear more people thinking about, I want to get flued out. I want somebody to take me on a trip. I want somebody to do this. I want somebody to do that. Opposed to what you guys can do together. Yeah. How do you feel about if you were going on a trip with somebody, a guy said, hey, let's go on a trip. Mm-hmm. What is your first mindset? Is it, oh, he asked me to go on a trip, he paying? Or, oh, shoot, I got to make sure I have $1,000 to go have on a trip with him?
It depends on our relationship. That's why I ask questions. Mm-hmm. And it also depends on how you say it. Like, if you say, let's go on a trip, I think we're going to collaborate on how and figure out how we're going to do
the trip.
I'm not that girl who can just be like, oh, just, I don't have the Jezebel spirit, and I wish I did. Like, I could get money, finessing money out of men. I just can't do that. So the conversation will always be questions first. I'll always ask, like, how you want to do this? Like, are we getting flights together? Are you going to buy this? It's like the flu out. I've only been flew out probably about 3 times. It's a very rare occasion that it happens to me. So my first instinct is not that you about to buy me something. It's even hard now to go on dates. Like, a man actually invite you on dates and him not looking at you to pick out your car after you invited me to do something. So,
do you feel like that conversation should happen though, like before the date about who should pay?
No. I told you the last episode, I no longer take out my card if you invite me. I sit there and look at you. Because if I invite you, you don't have to touch your card. There's no
What
reason.
if it's a let's go get dinner? Not do you want to, but let's go get dinner.
Is it, before we do that, is it a date? And that's my only question.
You asked that.
Yeah. Because if we go on a date and you tell me you want to split, you want to be friends. That's a boundary for me. I'm not going on another date with you. You my homegirl. Hey. You my homegirl. Because why?
Has the bill ever came and a man looked at you and say, like, asked you to put something on it?
Has it ever came and they asked me to, when he was paying? No.
Okay.
As either you'll pay or I pay. I was even telling a friend the other day, I don't believe in splitting rent with my man. Pay for something else, or I'll pay for something else. But if we both living in a home together, you're not taking half the money. You're my roommate. I'm not giving you half the money to pay that rent. We're gonna figure out other ways of managing our expenses and stuff. It just doesn't feel together for me.
That's a big step in a relationship, though. Like having those financial conversations and being open about your finances, and then how financially you can help each other grow. I think that is very important.
Money is a hard conversation for people just in general, but
I realized this in dating, that a lot of men tend to keep the finances like to themselves. And which I think is okay, but I feel like once you get in that relationship, or when you're about to take that step to get in a relationship, you have to be open and comfortable to have those conversations.
Keeping those finances to himself because he's paying for everything?
I feel like some men are scared to just either admit that maybe they have debt. Or expose you to the fact that they have
bad financial practices,
or that they're really good financially, and in the past they've been used and they don't want you to do the same thing. So this is
important as to why we need to ask appropriate questions. Vocabulary and language is important, and there's ways to get information out of people without it feeling like you're prying. There's ways that you can ask these specific questions for this person to be like, okay, and what they're willing to divulge. Or you could just simply be honest. Hey, I want to know about your finances because these are mine, and I want to know if we work together.
Before we jump to our beautiful letters, soft launch, hard launch. Do you feel like on Instagram that you would post your new relationship? And if so, what time frame would it be that you would post that new relationship?
I always said I would never post a man until he posts me first. I used to say that, but then I started like talking shit. Okay. Realistically for me, and I think this is, I think I would set a keen and strong expectation on this. I want to be dating somebody a year before I decide to put them on Instagram. And that's just for me. I think a year would have given me enough time to really get to know you. Any bitches that's in the woodworks, they've come, they've fallen off, or they've gone into hiding. Okay. Or, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think a year is good, at least for me, because just I would feel comfortable about that decision, because I feel like a year of investment in something means it's genuine. Yeah. Now, something can happen in a year and a day plus, but I won't feel as bad if I waited a year. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think. Well, chap.
Right. I haven't posted him fully yet. Just because, like, I don't know. I still like him being like, my man to myself.
You like the ambiguity.
Yeah, I like that. I like the ambiguity. And I also feel like, when we take these fire ass engagement pictures, like, that's when I'll make like the big post. But
Well,
also,
everybody
too,
know you got a man now.
that's what I wanted. I want people to know that like I'm in a committed partnership.
I had a question for you, but I'm not going to embarrass you.
Like that. Don't start your shit, Nathan. So Nathan and I receive, messages and emails and DMs asking us for dating advice. So what we decided to do for this episode, we decided to do, advice with J. Lamar and Nathan. So we took some letters and we're going to read them and then we're going to discuss them. So here's our first letter. I need your matchmaking wisdom on this one because I'm starting to feel a little played. I've been dating this guy named Trey for about 2 months. He's fine. He's funny. The chemistry is there. But there's one thing that's starting to rub me the wrong way.
What is it?
This man loves gifts. And not like cute little thoughtful gifts. I'm talking designer cologne, sneakers, Uber Eats. When he's too tired to cook, even cash apps for emergencies. And at first, I didn't mind. I like spoiling someone that I'm into. But now it's starting to feel like he expects it. He's never even offered to pay for a date. And when I bring it up, he says I'm being stingy or I'm killing the vibe. The other day, he sent me a screenshot of a new pair of shoes and said, you know what daddy likes. I'm starting to wonder if he likes me or he just really likes what I do for him. Is this a red flag or am I being cheap? Signed, Chris.
You will answer it or you want me to answer?
I'll start by saying, like, no, you're not being cheap. I think that if y'all have only been dating for 2 months.
He said they were dating for 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
If y'all have only been dating for 2 months and you're already, you've already set that tone for the relationship of you buying that person this and you buying that person that, this is the perfect time to start wheeling back and saying, hey, like, this is not it. Like, I'm just getting to know you. Because you know how sometimes you get to know somebody in the beginning and you kind of show out. So every time you see them, you might have a little piece, you might have some flowers, you might have a car, you might have those type of things to impress them.
You bringing Gucci to the table?
Some people do. Apparently Chris got it. Apparently Chris got it. But I think this is the perfect time after 2 months to say, like, yo, I've wined and dined you. I've gotten to know you. Now I have other things to bring to the table besides me buying you gifts. I think this needs to be like an honest conversation. Like, hey, you're beginning to turn me off because you're looking like somebody that is a user opposed to somebody that is getting to know me. Especially the part where he's like, you're not even paying for, the other person ain't even paying for dates. If a man buys you a $2,000 Gucci bag, take him to dinner. If my man came home,
he would never be hungry.
If my man came home, which he does come home with gifts all the time,
he would never be hungry.
I'ma feed that man in multiple ways. You hear me?
He would never be hungry.
But what you think about that?
It's a bag I'm looking at that's $2,500 right now. So let me know.
Chris, Nathan want that bag?
I don't want to be rude or disrespectful, but this is just a typical scenario in a gay dating situation. You are this man's trick, and you need to run for heels. I don't think you don't need to be dating this man. You need to leave him immediately. A conversation will be fine, but you've already set the tone and the precedent. He already knows that you have money.
Yeah.
And what really got me was the line where he said, "You're killing my vibe," or what was the other thing he said?
You're killing my vibe,
or you being stingy,
and you're being stingy.
That's manipulative.
Yeah. The being stingy would have threw me for a loop.
You're being manipulative. Leave that man immediately, or you just gonna get taken advantage of. Yeah. So there's no
Chris, either conversation or cut it off.
Cut it off, Chris.
We got time for one more?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, J. Lamar Nathan, I need some real talk because my friends are giving me mixed signals. So I met this guy, let's call him Drew, on a dating app about a month ago. And from the jump, we clicked. The chemistry was wild, the convos were deep, and the dates were giving this could be something. But here's the twist. I found out he had just gotten out of a 4-year relationship literally 2 weeks before we matched. 2 weeks is in caps. Okay. When I asked him about it, he was honest and said the breakup was mutual and he was emotionally done with his ex. Cool, but fast forward to now, he's already calling me his boyfriend, posting soft launch pics, and acting like we're in the whole relationship. Part of me loves the attention, but another part of me is like, is this real or am I just his rebound? I don't want to get emotionally invested in someone who might still be healing or worse, use me to distract himself. So what's the TJ Lamar? Should I ride the wave or step back before I get played? Okay, Mike. So red flag immediately. No one should be.
Where's our red flag?
I really fully believe that no one should be dating outside of a relationship before a year. For a year.
4 years in a relationship with somebody?
You could be emotionally done. You could be tried and through. You could have killed your husband or whatever. I think you should wait. Just because you just need time to really see what's out there. Also, second part, you're being love bombed. This person has serious emotional attachment issues.
Yeah.
And this is really, really dangerous because he feels like, now you can really see that he needs connection. You know what I mean? And the conflicts that you guys will have in lieu of this is just really not worth it for you. So your friends, I don't know what kind of mixed signals they're giving you, but this is dangerous and you need to cut shorty off. That's my opinion.
I would say that I could 100% agree with you. I think a lot of times when people get out of those long-term relationships, what they're really looking for is a rebound and a replacement. And what I mean by replacement is they're literally looking
unconsciously too.
Yeah, they're literally looking for somebody to pick up exactly where them and that person left off. You got to think about it as though if I fire somebody from the job, I still need the work done. So if I still need the work done, I'm hoping that I get another person that I hire and they come in, they pick up exactly where that other person left off and they do it even better. I think a lot of times in that particular situation, it's the same thing. What he's looking for is somebody to pick up exactly where that ex left off after 4 years and then do it even better.
Just got out of a 4-year relationship.
Out of a 4-year relationship.
That's crazy.
Jumping into something 2 weeks in. That's heavy. And then you posting pictures and everything like that. I
think you're crazy.
It also sounds like you may be trying to make the ex jealous.
Yeah.
And in that case, that's often scary because he's putting you in an uncompromisable situation, a situation where you could be, potentially at danger because he's posting you, maybe trying to make his ex jealous. So yeah, it's too soon for all of that. Now, I think if they were doing this behind closed doors, and they were just vibing after 2 weeks, okay, you could vibe. Y'all can go to dinner here and there. Y'all kick
it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't feel official unless the world knows. That's why people do stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying. That makes it dangerous. That makes it dangerous. I think that you should pull. I think you should definitely pull back and not get emotionally
Calm
invested.
down with this fatal attraction bullshit.
Ooh, can't you see it on Snap, girl? Can't you see it on Snap? Oh my gosh. So here we are.
We done wrapped up.
6 months into the year.
I know.
6 months.
What is it? Our 1 year episode. And our first one after that.
Yeah, first one after our 1 year episode. 6 months into the year. What is one thing that you feel like you've learned about yourself in terms of love and dating?
I need to give it a try, like a real try. Like I think I have a problem with being inconvenienced. I feel like my life should be easy. So if anything that comes with that and it doesn't look how I want and the structure that I want, I'm immediately turned off by it and I just kind of like place it in the box. But I think I should need to be more open-minded in that. I could be a bit type A when it comes to that kind of stuff. I just don't like loosey-goosey shit. I like very black and white. So, just trying to live in the gray. That's a very big, difficult thing for me. Me and my therapist have talked about that for years. But, living in the gray. So we'll see how that goes. How about you? Well, you're in a relationship now, so.
Yeah, I think that one thing I've learned about myself in this past 6 months is it's okay to be imperfect. And it is okay for somebody to see your imperfections. And it is okay to let somebody love you through you finding out that you have some imperfections.
Oh, okay. So that was a very big
Mhm.
thing for you.
It was big, yeah. I think that we operate in this space of like being dolls. And, I think that we don't know that we have, that you have certain imperfections, but we're being held accountable in a relationship. It's
Bitch, I
like,
got no imperfections for your motherfucking self.
when you get in a relationship, you're going to learn those imperfections. But I think that having those imperfections come out,
Yeah.
and then having somebody to talk through those imperfections with, and love you through those imperfections is something that I'm learning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, one thing. Dating tip?
Dating tip. My dating tip is set the intention and embrace it when it happens. So set the dating intention, and when it happens, embrace it and be grateful for it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, one thing I want to say as my dating tip, write down everything that you want. The smallest to the largest detail. Write it down and chase that.
Yeah.
You'll get far.
I love it. Well, thank you to our sponsors, Reach
Thank
LA.
you, Reach LA. We love y'all.
We love you.
Keeping us employed, Chad.
Right. Thank y'all for daters. It was great catching up with us, Nathan.
Thank you. Yes.
We appreciate y'all, daters, and we'll see y'all next time. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.